What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files. Is this episode 499?
It is.
Nice. Well done. Bachelor in Paradise recap edition. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Yeah,
Monday
good.
morning.
Great.
Rain is falling.
We have
it.
an amazing guest. Eilise Guilfoyle returns to the Viall Files. You know where you love her. You appreciate her coming back. Eilise,
Cheers.
how are you?
I'm great.
How's it
How
been?
is everybody? It's been good. You know, just living.
Anything new?
Bangs. I got bangs.
They look good.
Great.
Thank you. You cannot touch them or they look bad. You know, like
Also-
they have to stay in place.
Oh.
Because like if you even walk and there's like a brisk breeze, then they're separating in the middle. It's very complex. So
They look wonderful.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
They do.
Thank you.
It looks
Were you-
like you always had bangs.
Yeah, I was like, were you nervous that like you would get them and then not like them?
Oh yeah, and I do kind of regret them because you can't just like get ready quickly. But they're fun. They're fun for the
I like
time,
'em.
and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's more of a risk than, say, dyeing your hair, would you say? Because you could always dye it back. You might have to
Totally.
wait
Yeah.
a week or two,
Yeah.
maybe moisturize, I don't know,
But that's going to
hydrate.
take time to grow out.
You got to grow
Yeah.
out the
Yeah.
bangs.
Yeah.
Kind of,
No,
you're
no,
pot
it could've been
committed for
really
a while.
bad.
Good news is you look amazing.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like you'd have to dye them the color of your forehead and it wouldn't work. I was just trying to think of like, what
How?
would you do if you were
From a
trying to get rid of
distance, you might
bangs?
look somewhat
Amanda's-
bald.
Like,
Amanda's
you'd have
in
to
the-
dye them the color of your forehead.
Like, so I'm just gonna need just white right here, just really cream colored.
Maybe under some stage
Amanda's in the
lights.
lab in her head, just trying to conjure up
Yeah.
some sort of solution.
you actually don't have to wait for them to grow because you can dye them tan.
You can just.
I'm an innovator.
Just put a swim cap on every single day.
That sounds good.
Tuck it in.
No,
All right.
no
Well,
headaches.
Glad you're well.
Thank
Hair
you.
looks amazing.
Thank you.
Also, before we get into all things Bachelor, tomorrow, our 500th episode of the Viall Files. Yay. And we have Bartice and Nancy and Raven from Love is Blind joining us. In addition to all of the other stuff we're going to get into, like the Selena Gomez documentary, the reunion of Love is Blind, all that fun stuff and more.
Woohoo!
On going deeper.
On Going Deeper on Thursday. Also, don't forget we have episode 3 of our update special this week, Friday, for all the Ask Nick listeners and our texting office hours that happen on Going Deeper. We have some great updates for you. We are reading some. We have some people calling in, so don't miss that. That's this Friday. Update special number 3. Don't miss it. Allie, I guess let's get into it.
Well, I want to jump into Bachelor Tea because you, sir, are on the top of my list. You were a little messy on social media over the weekend.
Explain. How was I messy?
I noticed first and foremost, you took to Instagram. You had a little dinner party with Serena and Joe.
It was
when-
more of a some friends were in town and we got back to town. It was kind of an impromptu do you guys want to come over? And then it was like, do you guys want to come over? And then we had a bit of a game night and then we ordered some John and Vinny's.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Love
Lovely.
it.
You did post some photos and videos on your Instagram story.
Of my friends hanging out.
Correct, you
Yeah.
did.
Uh-huh.
And then you decided to make a TikTok about it as well, which I believe you captioned soft launch
Game night. Yeah.
of Greg and Victoria.
Oh,
I don't
that-
think you were soft launching game night.
I wasn't talking about them.
You were soft launching game night?
Sir.
You were soft launching the fact that you were hanging out.
Well, I'm not really speaking to any relationship status, but other than the fact that they are hanging out. Yeah.
I mean, they were
Wait,
cuddling.
I didn't see this.
That was a cuddle.
Yeah.
And then they got on a
seem to be
flight together.
affectionate, yeah.
People photographed them getting on a flight together.
Oh my gosh.
It is a lot. It is of the opinion that anything that doesn't happen on a show can't be spoiled.
Yeah, there were a lot of comments on your TikTok like, "Are you allowed to post this?" And I was like, "Well, it's his life and it's his home."
Yeah. Yeah.
And the interaction that they're referring to has nothing to do with Bachelor in Paradise. I mean, I understand the implications, but it is of the understanding that it can't be spoiled if it didn't start.
Can't be spoiled, but it can be soft launched.
Were you trying to stir up tea with the soft lunch caption?
I hope everyone knows that I didn't do anything without anyone's permission.
Oh my God, imagine. They had like no idea.
They're like, wait, can you actually not?
Nick is like, my house, my rules.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They
No.
sign like a press release form when they enter the.
Listen, I will say, I think people should pay very close attention to Bachelor in Paradise as how did we get here, so to speak. There are a lot of questions, as I said last week. I think the specific answers will be answered at the appropriate time, probably at some sort of reunion.
Cryptic.
I think people will be interested in watching.
Mostly to see me. I was there.
That's hot.
It's hot.
Front row. She was in the
I was
front
in the front row.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll let Victoria Gregg speak on their own on relationship or whatever it is on their own time. But I think there's a level of, I would imagine, from what I can gather, that when two people like really are excited about the potential of something, and especially if it's a perceived to possibly have public interest, I think there's a lot of stress on how that might be received. And it can be even more stressful to hide something. And then ultimately when it's decided like, well, this has really nothing to do with that, like, let's just get it out there. It's already out there. It's been out there. I think there's a level of, fuck it, we don't want to, like, this is our life and I want to take control of our life type of energy, which I totally understand. And I do think, I think it'll be very interesting as things play out, how people perceive this or receive this. I think it's a really interesting discussion in terms of in relationships and relationships not working out. Johnny and Victoria weren't like really focused on this episode all that much. We didn't see much of them, but I think we should pay close attention to conversations that those two have between now and the end of the season. And I think we should remember conversations they've had around being ready for serious relationships. Victoria's been very clear about what she's wants. She's been very communicative with Johnny, very direct with Johnny about what she's looking for. I think we should also remember where Johnny was with Gabby not so long ago and the reason why him and Gabby didn't work out. Also, I think it's interesting to know that Victoria wouldn't have watched that. She would have already been filming when Johnny's and Gabby's story was aired on TV. So if Victoria would have to hear from Johnny or someone else about that information, about why he might have ended that relationship. And I think it's interesting that those same conversations are coming up literally weeks later, and Johnny has a very different take. And this is all to say, like, I think it's just very interesting to see, like, I think the conversation is going to be something around, like when you get into a relationship and it's easy to want to position especially if you're excited about someone, when you're excited about someone, you get excited, you want to be your best self, you want to portray an idea of yourself sometimes. We've all done that. We've projected who we want to be rather than who we are sometimes. When we get excited about someone, but when that person who's also in the relationship might, as time goes on, realize that maybe, it's not what they signed up for. And then when that happens, how do those both people in the relationship react? And then the big question is, because I think there's always going to be questions around timelines and things like that. I told you, I heard from a very reliable source last week that there was no infidelity, but certainly I think the people involved in this relationship realize if you're going to move on very quickly and you're going to put it out there, questions are going to come up. But I think it raises the question, how long should you mourn the ending of a relationship when certain non-negotiables are clearly not being met? And when things are said and done in a way where you decide like certain boundaries are crossed, where you're just like, hey, I got the answer I need and I'm sorry, but how long should you mourn that relationship? I think is a question people will want to discuss.
Totally. Especially based on like what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's relationships where like someone realizes it's going downhill kind of early. And then I feel like I've had a lot of friends who are like, yeah, I think part of the reason the breakup wasn't like as atrocious was because it was kind of like we were breaking up for the last 3 months of us dating.
It wasn't perfect. And then overnight it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And then, feelings can get hurt and you can be sad. And just because, you're hurt and upset doesn't necessarily mean the other person's wrong or bad.
Mm-hmm.
From what I know, I would understand why Johnny would be frustrated and upset. But at the same time, I've heard the other side, and I can understand what there was frustration and upset on on Victoria's side.
Yeah.
But I think it will be interesting for people to watch, and I think there will be plenty of opinions. I mean, I met Johnny. I think I met Johnny once. Really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he was really likable, really good energy. We had some brief conversations about what he wants to do, and he definitely seemed like a guy who had yet to find his passions in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't. I mean, when I was Johnny's age, I didn't have it all figured out. But at the same time, Victoria is someone who, from what I can gather, she has shown a lot of growth over these past couple of years, especially from Peter's season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on this season, she's the one who's communicating. She's very direct with her expectations. She's been very empathetic with her friends, and she is someone who, it seems like, has had her own challenges and frustrations in relationships, her own disappointments. She is someone who seems like she has learned from that and has wanted to, she's still willing to take risks, but as communicating more directly and more upfront with her expectations with people she seems to be interacting with. And I think, those are a lot of things we talk about. So feelings can get hurt in relationships, and that's a crappy part, but it'll be interesting to see how people perceive how things play out, because I think the story of how we got here is really interesting. So
Agreed.
So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. That's all I gotta say about that.
Allie, whenever you wear Rothy's to work, I notice it, and I'm always like, "Damn, those look good." I think we both got the same print. Like
they complete my outfits very well. I am a monochromatic queen. I love a good blazer. Whether I'm wearing jeans or leggings or dress pants, they're just kind of the perfect addition.
And I get dirt on my shoes. I don't know how. I don't know why.
Where do you walk?
But the nice thing about Rothy's is that I can throw them in the washing machine and they will be bada bing, bada boom, so clean. Good as new. We love that.
Also, like sanitation, even if they're not like dirty, you just want them to be clean. Maybe you wore them when you're traveling. Maybe you wore them to work.
They can be brand new every time you wear them. There's no break-in period. They're a modern marvel. I'm just always blown away how Rothy's was able to make Rothy's. Whether it's flats or handbags, whether it's men's or women's. South Magazine even named the original slip-on sneaker the best slip-on sneaker during their 2022 Sneaker Awards. So Rothy's is winning awards. It's not that they're just taking recycling plastic and just making it in some weird, funky shoe. No, these are stylish. I got a pair of these red loafers that pair well with a nice little kind of casual suit. Who would have thought?
That's so trendy.
Very comfortable, very nice. Rothy's has it all. So if you're looking for some great holiday gift ideas, think of Rothy's. Get stylish shoes, versatile and durable, enough to wear all the time. With Rothy's, get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/VIALL. That is ROTHYS.com/VIALL. Manscaped. Ladies, hear me out.
We're listening.
All the things that Manscaped is doing is going to help your guy out. It's going to help you guys out. Have them clean up down there. Have them manage that stuff. Like sometimes it gets a little carried away. And I think sometimes men can be fearful because they're using their beard trimmers sometimes, or their hair clippers. Men are disgusting creatures.
Gross.
Get a Manscaped. That's what you should get your boyfriends, right? When you first, in the first months of dating.
On your first date.
On your first date.
Pass it across the table.
The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Plus, it's waterproof. You can use it in the shower. Save 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/VIALL. That's 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/VIALL. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Okay. It's a great stocking stuffer. Everyone loves turkey and stuffing, but you'll be looking like dessert with the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. The leaders in the below-the-waist grooming have blessed you with the ultimate Thanksgiving dinner topic. Think your holiday spread is good? It's time to give thanks to Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, or as I like to call it, the perfect package for your package. Inside, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 Weed Whacker Ear and Nose Trimmer, Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Toner, Performance Boxer Briefs, and Travel Bag to hold your goodies. Manscaped's doing great things in the men's grooming department, so join along.
Yeah, so speaking of it was the Bachelor in Paradise reunion filmed on Friday. So all of our favorite alums were in town filming. They all had an event afterward. They were drinking, dancing, doing all the things. And now people are like kind of piecing together, because obviously we've seen the videos and the photos from the event after the reunion. So like Serene sitting on Brandon's lap. There's like
no one seems too concerned.
Rodney and Eilise are smiling at each other. Like Rachel, former Bachelorette Rachel, and Johnny were seen interacting. So now people are like, whoa.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They look Johnny and Rachel, maybe.
Do we ship it?
Why not?
Because
Rachel like wants everything that it seems like is the downfall of Victoria and Johnny. I mean, sure, they could be great together, but I don't know if like.
Oh,
they
you're
both
thinking
are
this
getting
pragmatically.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, no. I mean, if they're just hooking up, God
We're just
bless.
more like.
Nick is like, stir
Allie
the
and I
pot.
are just. Wait, you have your idea.
Literally go for it. But I'm just saying, oh my, what a mess for like, I'm thinking Rachel, like
yes.
the girl, we know what she wants. So
What is that?
long term. She wants like literally Prince Charming, Guy Clayton version football player to have kids with and whatever. And I think soon.
Yeah, like someone who I think is going to
Established.
be
Yeah.
incredibly committed to her and show that throughout the relationship, which I feel like Johnny, commitment,
Maybe not so
oil,
much.
water.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Johnny was really into Victoria. You know, that's the thing. It's like you can have an idea of your head being committed. It's like, I'm committed to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know if Johnny's commitment level was in question in this relationship. It was more his readiness. You know, you can be committed and not ready.
Yeah, well, you can be committed to like, I am so loyal to you and
Right,
I
yeah.
want
I'm
this
in
life
love.
with you. I want everything. But then it's like,
But the
I think Victoria
yeah.
is very much like, I want kids in a year or 2 years or whatever, and has made that very clear. And I think that to me, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but like in these conversations, they kind of just at a certain point, I think, want to be together in the show. So then they are like breezing past the fact that he's like, I can't do that.
Based on what you know of Greg, do you think he's ready?
Yeah. I think he's more established. I think he's more like, yeah.
Well, speaking of love and tragedy, Gabby and Eric have broken up.
Oh my God.
I mean, we all saw it coming based on the Dancing with the Stars interview where she said they were supporting each other from afar.
Perfect.
They're like neighbors too. I think they're. My understanding is they live like pretty close to each other.
I thought they lived together. No?
Well, maybe they did.
Or they were
I
just
don't-
spending
I
a lot
don't
of
know.
time together?
I think prior to the show coming to a conclusion, or prior to going to the show, I think they were both West Siders
Yeah.
of LA.
Yeah.
They were both living in LA before the show.
Yeah, it was just kind of like they made it like, you know how a lot of bachelor couples
They move.
they
yeah,
live
yeah.
in different parts of the country, and so when you say we support each other from afar, you're like, oh yeah, I guess we're not.
Sure.
But it was just kind of a funny statement given
Like
how
afar from down the street.
how in proximity they are with
Yeah.
like how easy it would be to like
Support each other, not from afar.
not from afar.
Yeah.
Aw.
But yeah, it was a kind of
But a source said that Gabby was the one who actually ended it.
she didn't even get through Dancing with the Stars.
No. But I mean, she hasn't been wearing her ring. She said that after an interview.
Oh, God.
People like the signs were pointing.
Yeah, well,
But the source said she felt like they weren't aligned and weren't on the same page. Gabby was hoping that they could give each other space and work it out, but ultimately decided they didn't have a future.
we wish them both the best.
Yeah.
So, breakups are hard.
Breakups are hard. Opposite of breakup, engagement. More info on the Dean and Kaylin engagement.
Yeah.
We thought him losing a 4.5 carat ring was bad. Guess how he proposed? He took her on a 22-mile hike.
With the real ring?
I think this was probably the replacement.
Yeah.
From what I've heard,
So
I don't think it's been
she didn't
found.
even get the real ring?
It was 22 miles. She was crying, asking to turn around. And he pointed out that he could see someone getting scared on this hike because, quote, people die on this hike semi-regularly.
It's like, give the girl a break. Rewind to before you guys were like in a van together. Like maybe she hates this and is just like so down for it with you. but like maybe just for the engagement do.
But like
Griffith?
Miss North Carolina's not trying to die on her engagement
That's what
day.
I'm saying.
Is that the state that she was? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I think maybe.
That's so scary. Yeah, she looked like
I mean, I love Dean, but
That's awful though.
he was putting up clips of her too, like throughout the hike, and each time she was like turning around and was like, and like on the brink of tears.
I mean, people die semi-regularly.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I guess he just wanted to scare the shit out of his girlfriend before he proposed or something. I don't.
Not the vibe.
That
not
way,
the
if
vibe.
she said no, it'd be very.
She's just dead.
Then
Well,
you have to go 22
Wait,
miles back.
how did they get back?
Maybe was
Well,
it a loop?
it's 11 miles to where they went and
Okay.
11
It's a
miles
mountain
back.
So she got proposed to halfway.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't, they didn't do 22 miles and then he proposed.
Still,
They did 22 miles.
11 miles
Easy. That's better.
long.
Also, it
That's
doesn't
so
sound like it
scary.
was just like a peaceful, like runyon paved path situation.
Well, if it takes
No.
20, wait, a marathon is
26.
26 miles. And that usually the average person running it 4 hours it takes.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
average
Yeah,
person
yeah.
who can just start and finish, not like you're
not me.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Allie the
Not a super athlete.
I was implying
it
that
took like
I would
4
be
or
like
5 hours
8.
probably to get there.
I was going the opposite
Yeah,
direction.
I was
Sorry.
like, Allie would probably do 2
4
hours.
3
hours
days.
and 21 minutes is the average marathon finish time.
What would it say to walk 11 miles?
I will walk
11 miles.
and almost die.
I'm gonna Google Map something.
Love that.
I think it did make her reaction really good though, like when she turns around or whatever, because I think she was like,
She was
"Thank
exhausted."
God
Yeah.
that you like had something planned for this.
Would have been even better if it could have actually been the real ring.
Yeah. Ouch.
Should we like go over with a metal detector, try and help him out? Like, where is it?
He hasn't found it yet.
I haven't seen any updates that he has.
Ouch.
You really botched this.
Yeah.
Glad there's love.
There's love. If there wasn't, that would be bad.
Google Maps claims 3 hours and 39 minutes, which I think,
Sounds about right.
yeah, I feel like if you're walking at a leisurely
it was like a
pace-
7-hour round trip.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that he got down on a knee, popped back up, and they kept going at that exact
yeah.
instant.
What are the chances? I mean, they are like professional, like certainly Dean and Kaylin also has been traveling with Dean for a long
Yeah.
time. So they're well-equipped people. Like
Mhm.
they're not wearing Converse.
Yeah.
But is there any way she didn't have a blister at some point
No.
at the end?
Absolutely not. Because they're like, it was rocky. It was like going up, and I think
Yeah, people died.
she was.
Semi-regularly.
Yeah. It's like
It's
those
not-
YouTube
people
videos
have
where you look
died
up those
there.
scariest hikes ever.
What is semi-regularly?
Yeah, what is...
It could be once every 5 years.
love how they
could be
throw that
once
out.
a weekend.
Yeah.
Semi-regularly.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Very vague.
Oh my gosh. My sister's now husband proposed on a hike, and he was so nervous about forgetting the ring that he packed the ring but forgot everything else. So he didn't have any like clean underwear. He didn't pack any like normal shoes. So he did the full hike in the snow in Vans.
Oh,
But it's a funny story now.
that's cute.
Yeah.
They made it out alive.
They did. No one died there semi-regularly. So.
Cheers.
Did the Bachelor Nation Instagram post Serena and Brandon on each other's lap?
Well, they took a group photo, and it was in front of the like Bachelor in Paradise logo. It was the full cast.
I feel like they're trying to get people to just be gabbing about it, because otherwise, wouldn't you do this reunion when it's
Sure. I
Done.
mean, it's Bachelor in Paradise. You have multiple storylines that you're covering.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many storylines, right? I would imagine most seasons have multiple engagements or certainly multiple relationships that are together.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I think if I'm a storyteller, I would want successful relationships. I would want seemingly successful relationships that maybe end, questions about timelines, things like that,
Yeah.
breakups.
Yeah.
I mean, this only gets the conversations going. I mean, if I'm the show, I would be thrilled
yeah.
about what's going on with people on the cast. And it's just, I mean, again, if it doesn't happen on their show, what can they,
Yeah.
guess they
Who knows?
can't, what do we think about Victoria and Greg?
I
I
mean,
mean, obviously
they're
they're my
hot,
friends.
hot.
I'm biased. I am friends with them as individuals as well.
They all love a good game night.
Yeah.
They love a good game night. Love John and Vinny's.
A good soft launch.
What else can you have? No, I think they're hot, hot, hot. And I don't know. I think that they would be good together. I mean, the last time, I always forget, like the last time we saw Greg, there was a lot of stuff going down there. And so I feel like I kind of was unsure of him. And I really seemed to like Victoria. So I don't know. I'd have to see.
Don't hurt your girl.
I don't want, I'm like, don't hurt her. She doesn't know me. I'm like, please don't hurt her. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I was going to say, like, I feel like I love a relationship where it's like, if it's like a man and a woman dating, where like the woman is like the attacker, should it come down to that. You know, like
The attacker.
Like I feel like in every relationship, there's someone who's going to be like the advocate, who's going to like, who's more likely to going to be like, rah!
Yeah, that's Victoria.
And I think, and I feel like it's they balance each other out very well in that way, where I feel like exactly the kinds of ways that Greg would need to be protected, she could do it, and vice versa.
Victoria definitely has some like strong like lioness energy.
Yeah, like don't fuck with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They balance each other out because I will say at Natalie's birthday party, Victoria was the one trying to find tequila and pouring shots for everyone. And Greg was like, I hate shots. Don't make me take a shot. They're like the perfect opposites.
Okay. Yeah.
Victoria was leading the shot circle. She was the champion.
And that makes them compatible?
Well, and Greg
Maybe.
couldn't even finish one. I don't know. I just feel like they're like little yin and yang.
It is lioness energy for sure.
Yeah.
And he's giving like Berenstein Bear energy. So maybe together
Oh my God.
God bless the parents.
that would be something good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm curious how it all started, though. I haven't really asked, to be honest. I haven't. I'm excited to find out when they share the details of this.
Details will be shared.
Whatever this is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes out. I'll be in the background.
Yeah.
Hey.
When it comes to choosing a wireless plan, you're forced to compromise. But what if you didn't have to? What if you could get reliable service without a contract and save money? Introducing Total by Verizon, a new no-contract, no-credit check carrier for you and your family with plans starting at just $30 per month on America's most reliable 5G network. Sacrifice nothing, experience everything. Total by Verizon is available at totalbyverizon.com and at retailers nationwide. Based on first-place rankings and Root Metrics first half 2022 5G assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement. All right, well, let's get into the episode. Eilise, how are you feeling about this season?
You know, I have to be honest. I did major catch up on this season because I feel like normally there's a break in between Bachelor. Maybe I'm wrong, but if there's Bachelorette, and usually you get like 1 week off,
Yeah,
and
a
then
bye
it
week.
starts.
Paradise doesn't
Oh,
afford us much of a break.
I didn't know that, and so like and then it was 2 episodes that first week. So then I was like,
You're already behind.
I was so behind. I'm like watching. My boyfriend's like, you're watching like 8 hours of television a day, and I'm like glued to the TV. But I mean, I think it's been exciting. I feel so bad for all of them. Being split up, the girls just sobbing. I'm like, oh God, it's been such a bad look for women in general, because the guys are like, we've been hanging out here and just drinking, and they're like, I haven't left my bed. There was a lot of that. And then, yeah, I mean, I like the couples. I like how I always think someone's solid and then they're not. I hadn't really thought of Kate before. She's fun to watch. So yeah, I don't know. I've been having a good time.
All right. Yeah.
Hearing you say that though about the guys all hanging out, I'm like, is that why they're especially bro-y this season? Because they had that week where it was, and yeah, there were some women there, but I'm like, because it feels like it's especially bro-y.
I think maybe that's
They're
it.
bro-y dudes.
I think
though.
they're just
Yeah.
bro-y
Mhm.
guys. I think they're a bit on the younger side too. And then I think they're just generally bro-ier.
They all like kind of know each other too,
Yeah.
it seems, or a lot of them do. And they're always like playing fish games and stuff.
Sharks and minnows,
I
Pretending.
baby.
mean, Aaron last week was like, he absolutely thought he was in the right for like wanting, he's treating it like camp,
Yeah.
like it was.
so funny. Aaron cracks me up.
He also got emotional about said camp. He was like,
Yeah.
when I return to the real world, I'm going to look back this summer.
No, I mean, like he's very earnest and very sincere. It's not like he's, trying to make it up, make up an excuse. It's truly how he feels.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't agree with his approach. But I feel like I've always been hard on Aaron. You know, he's never been like my favorite character, but I feel like I've seen a lot of growth with Aaron. I think I've only heard good things about him in person. Like people genuinely like him. He seems like he has a really nice heart, really good guy. Just, you know, maybe he has some growing up to do, which is fine.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, let's get into Kate's little love triangle. I wrote down Caden's example of because you're older doesn't mean you're always the most mature in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you're wiser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just felt like she, you know, wouldn't shut up about how she's 7 years older than Logan.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
proceed to
God.
just like act like the younger, more insecure,
Yeah.
more immature, gossipy kind of talking shit behind the
Mhm.
like, you know, says one thing
Yeah.
to the person she's dating and then says another thing, you know, behind their back. And yeah, Kate's always run me the wrong way, but really rubbed me the wrong
100%.
way this
Yeah.
episode.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Because she had this crazy makeout sesh. The thing is, I think she like talks and can talk her like way in a circle and
Mhm.
make herself like really think she has really valid points.
Yeah.
Because she'll say crazy shit, but like very seriously and be like, I think I have to give Hayden a shot because he's more established. And I'm like, that's a crazy statement. Like, you're going to give him a shot because he's rich is what is
Mhm.
happening. And then also just like Logan,
Is he
they
though?
have this rich enough for Rambo, but who
guess.
knows?
She heard the thing about the like 6 figures lying around for a
She
dog surgery,
clocked
and she was like,
that.
immediate.
I've had some veterinarians
Veterinarians.
say there's no way that costed $100,000.
I don't know what kind of
Interesting.
experimental treatments he got
Not
going.
sure if Rambo costed, or I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure if we can believe
That it costs
what's his name.
$100K.
I just felt, and Logan's not always been my cup of tea, but they have this crazy makeout sesh. He's like so into her. And then she immediately, I thought it was so weird. She wakes up and like the next day has the ick for him. Like,
Because he can't afford Equinox.
yeah, the Equinox thing.
My
I'm like,
sister
I have
in
a trainer.
Christ.
She said it 3 times.
My sister
Like,
in
me
My
Christ.
sister
at
in
a
Christ, I
party.
am 33 years old.
And I thought that was so funny that they showed us all. It's like me thinking there's like a joke that really works, and then I just say it. But it's like on camera, so it's so cringe. It's like, I have a trainer. It was so upsetting.
Yeah. What is it? I wrote, what does it say about anyone, I guess, who like puts I want to be fought for on the top of their like priority list? Like, you know, in terms of, I understand wanting to be desired. I understand like wanting to be validated.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I like you.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Like,
Yeah.
good to know I'm not the only one in this equation
Yeah.
type of thing. But she's like doubling and tripling down on like, no, being fought for is like a non-negotiable for me in terms of how I want to be pursued. And it's just like, but
Mhm.
what does that do? What does that say about the relationship? If
And also,
anything,
what does it mean?
what is it? Yeah.
Like, it could mean so many different things.
So many things.
I
Half
think-
of which are insanely
Are
toxic.
bad. Yeah.
I think the fought for thing, I get it when like, even going back to when like Eliza wanted Rodney to be like, hey, don't go on the date. Like whatever. Like it's valid to be like, in that situation, like when I was thinking about going on the date, it would be nice if he was like, no, like it would be nice if he fought for me a little and was like, no, but she's talked about it so many times to where Logan just simply living and like kissing her and they're having this great time and whatever is not enough for her because he's not like fighting for her. And I just don't get what that means at this point.
Yeah. I also think this is going to be your new norm on Bachelor in Paradise. I think you've seen it a lot this
Yeah.
season with the guys being like, hey, I'm not going to tell a woman what to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the supportive guy. And I think it's been really interesting to see this season, like a lot of the women being like, wait, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this energy. I want you to step up. I wanted you to assert yourself more. I want you to kind of say what, stake your claim, say what you want, pursue. And the guys are like, hey, man, if you want to fuck other dudes, like, I'm not here to stop you. Like, you are an empowered woman, and I'm just here to support you and do whatever you want. And, like, I think this is the culmination of seasons and some of the conflicts that the men have found themselves in previous seasons of of things they've said or how they got stepped in. And instead of trying to have a nuanced conversation and trust that what you say, that the team who is editing it like fully transcribes it in full context, guys are just gonna be like, nah, fuck it. Like, you know what?
They don't want it to
do your
be,
thing.
They don't want it to be cut to where she's like, should I go? And he's like, no,
Yeah.
you can't go on this date.
All while some villainous music is
Yes.
playing over it, you know, like dun 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 dun. And all of a sudden she's like, well, wait, I don't want you to tell me what to do.
And then everyone is like, we hate him.
Yeah.
Like he hates women, you know,
So I think the guys are just like, fuck that. I want to be picked. And like, I think it's an interesting conversation because whether it's just on the beaches of paradise or culturally, I do think this is becoming more of a norm. In a lot of ways, I mean, you know, where do we draw the line between encouraging men to express their feelings more and be more open and talk about their feelings, but not wanting it? Where do we draw the line between that and still maybe want some of the traditional kind of courting dynamics to still take place in heterosexual relationships?
I think it's a fine
interesting.
line.
Yeah.
And I think that it also probably just depends relationship to relationship. Like, I think if you're the kind of person that can do it in the right way, it's just when you're seeing it on TV, like, you have no idea how it's going to get edited. But in the real world, if I'm like talking to a partner and they're like, it would mean a lot to me if you didn't go do that, or if you, you know, maybe, or if I could come with, or whatever. If it's done in the right way, it's so great and perfect. And like, it makes like for a really healthy couple dynamic. But on TV, it's just like, I feel like they're going one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. But it's also, I get the girls being like, okay, fuck this. Like, you don't like me then? I'm going to go on the date.
I totally get the disconnect for sure.
But this is also such a thing too, where it's like, there are certain parts of relationships where I feel like it's applicable to the real world. And then there are certain parts of this bubble that don't happen in the real world. And I'm like, in the real world, you're not watching someone else ask your potential girlfriend or boyfriend out on a date with a date card, negotiate. Like, I'm like, how would someone quote unquote fight for you in the same way if this was a normal like Hinge relationship?
That's a great point, because half the time they are watching, even if they're not making out, they're watching people like 50 feet away, sitting on a daybed, having what seems to be like some sort of romantic conversation. Yeah. And again, back to this, like the guy is just like, to interrupt that would have to have like an aggressive type of energy to be like, hey man, like, you know, kind of you're talking to my girl type of thing. And it seems like that's what some of the women want. And yeah, I think the guys could listen better, but I think everyone could communicate a little bit better with what they want, you know? Like they could just be like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, you know? If I want, you know, like instead of Kate cryptically telling everyone else about like Logan not fighting for her, she could just say, hey, to Logan, you know, it would really mean a lot if, like, I want to feel valid in a relationship, and it would like words of affirmation, love language for me, and it really is important for me if I'm early on in dating to hear a guy, you know, like communicate his feelings towards me and be very clear about that. You know, I really need that. Like that is also something to be said too.
Yeah, I think my problem with Kate was like, I think it's totally valid to say like, I wish you would have fought for me, but then they had the conversation. And he was like, "Oh, okay, you know, whatever." And she came back from the date, and they had this kiss in the rain. Which
I wrote that Kate did not deserve that.
She was like, "I had this kiss from like The Notebook," and I was like, "Oh,
they didn't deserve that."
That
moment.
was a really good Kate.
I'm trying to. It's like not Southern, but it's such a distinct voice.
There's a twang to
There's
it.
a twang.
Where's she from? Is she from the South?
I don't know.
She lives here now.
I've seen like tailgate photos of her at like a college situation. I wonder if it was like a Georgia. I don't know. But I just thought that was like, it's one thing if you have the conversation once, but they had the conversation that he was like, okay, I hear you.
Nashville.
Okay. And he was like, I should have done this. Then they kissed and then they woke up and it was something else. Whereas like Eilise, when they had a conversation, but she still wasn't sure, she kept communicating to him that she still wasn't sure. And Kate was like, just literally just talking shit everywhere and like mean too. Like, I don't know. It was bad.
Yeah, she absolutely wasted that. That was a really cinematic moment with the rain. I wanted to see anyone else but Logan and Kate have that moment.
Yeah. And he was also like, I felt like they were both like diving into the fact that it was raining. He was like, I should have been better. And she was like, I wish that you would have done this. Like they were like yelling.
Yeah, it's like our mics still work.
They're like, wait, we need to make sure they're getting this. Like I felt like they were both leaning into the notebook thing. And he's like, well, it won't be a problem again. Or he said something where then he like swooped her up. I was like, oh my gosh, gagging.
How do you, when Kate gave him the rose,
Oh,
with like basically a
what did she say
with
again?
a treat.
she was like, wait,
I need
Like a
more from
dog.
you.
Like a dog. It was like
Yeah.
dominatrix energy. Like, can you give me more? And he's like,
there's definitely something here, but I need more. And then she was like, can you give this to me? Okay. Will you accept the rose? Like
Oh.
there were so many steps.
I wish he would have said no.
She's
No.
also a
No.
teacher though, so maybe that's coming.
she's a
'cause
real
that's-
estate agent.
Teacher.
Oh my God. Okay. Excuse
she
me.
gives such
She
real
gives
estate
me-
energy.
This whole time I'm like, she's a teacher.
No, I think she works for the
I'm like
Oppenheim
giving
group.
her benefit of the doubt.
She works
Okay.
for the Oppenheim
Never
group.
Pretty
mind.
sure. So when you were saying
Yeah,
like
she's
she just talks and talks and talks, I'm like, she's the real estate agent where they're like, so sorry, we did need 3 bedrooms. This only has 2. And she'd be like, well, in the closet over here,
she'd
is
be
just
like, it's
gorgeous
actually
with the
big.
sunlight.
It's actually big. It's a bedroom.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she gives such real estate energy. I mean, she
She's
probably would sell you
also
a really nice
tiny.
house.
Having seen her in person now, she is a tiny human being.
Is she?
She's hot.
Yeah.
She's hot.
Yeah.
I'll give it to her. She's hot.
There's
Yeah.
a reason she looked like a spider monkey on Logan.
I really wanted Logan to say no. I'm curious how do you think she thought that would come across, and how did it come across? Like what?
I think she thought it would be empowering.
Yeah.
Girl boss who never settles for less.
And he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He literally was like,
Sure. Yeah.
nodded because he needs a rose. Like,
Logan has the secret weapon of ultimately not giving a shit.
yeah. And like, I don't know. He's tall. I feel like girls like him. He has
Yeah,
like
no,
this-
he's like, I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
I don't really care. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. What a power.
What a power. Should we get into Rodney and Eliza? And Justin?
What a cute love triangle. It was the most endearing, sweet love triangle I've
It
ever
was so
seen
sad.
on Bachelor Nation.
See, I found myself feeling kind of like frustrated with Eliza, even though I'm sure very, very hard to be in that
Yeah.
situation. But I was sort of, for some reason, I was more annoyed than I was like feeling empathy for her.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't feel empathy for Eliza?
I felt empathy in certain ways, but I think
I felt a ton of empathy for Eliza. What about you?
I think it's the thing about on the if you've never experienced the show, like I was like, oh, I never can fully grasp having that strong of feelings for 2 people. And so I think I was like, but you gotta know deep down which one are you gonna send home? Like I was
Yeah.
like, you gotta know. But then I will say the thing that made me feel especially bad for her was because everyone is like literally obsessed with Rodney, to where they all
That's-
sobbed like
that's
he
what
had
it is.
passed away when he had to
No.
leave.
Yeah.
And I felt that.
I feel bad for Eliza because it's not. I don't think she was all that torn.
Yeah.
I think that everyone there, and I love Rodney. Rodney is
Yeah.
truly one. He's a great guy. He is
Yeah.
like he is the guy that everyone likes. I consider him a friend. I've gotten to know him. I feel lucky to have gotten to know him. He's also not Jesus.
Yeah.
And they made it seem like she was deciding between Justin and Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
And
on
like
this earth.
it's like if you don't pick, how can you not pick Jesus? Like that was the type of energy the entire beach was like giving Eliza. And I think that was why she had the reaction that she had, the confusion of like, everyone's gonna hate me, Rodney's the good guy. And I'm sure she likes Rodney too.
Sure.
And she saw that. But like being a good guy and being popular is certainly an attractive quality in your partner. I mean, I like that people like Natalie and things like that. But at the end of the day, that doesn't supersede like an immediate connection or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
chemistry or bond or compatibility you might feel early on with someone. And you know, like we've all been there where like someone's like you have friends pressuring you to like someone and you're just like, I don't know. I get
You're like, no, he's
they're
great.
cool. They're nice.
He's great. And you're like, I can see that. I don't like him though.
Yeah. And they are nice. And I like him
Yeah.
as a friend and they have great energy. And like as far as the group goes, yes, I'm team Rodney. I like team Jesus. Love Jesus.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if I want to fuck Jesus. You know, like I don't know. And I think that's why I think Eliza was so torn. And I really felt for her because the whole group like was supportive of her and like it's like they didn't want to make her feel bad, but it was already like they
It's
were
so obvious.
they were crying. I mean, like again, I love Rodney, but like this is all gonna end, man. You're all gonna see him again. This isn't the Hunger Games.
I thought it was bizarre. Like people were sobbing like they had lost a loved one. and then looking, and I guess it was like maybe the heartbreak, like that they saw Rodney experiencing heartbreak. So
I
and
get
of course
being
that's so
sad
sad.
for Rodney.
But it was like I always find it funny when they're like sobbing when just like their friend leaves, and I'm like, this thing ends in a week.
Yeah.
Like you guys literally will go and party at like fucking Elefante together in 5 seconds. Like, and they were like, I just wish that, and like from the corner looking around, it was so crazy. And I think also Eilise, I'm glad I mean, I don't know how much of that she saw, but also imagine Justin just like watching this back is like, for sure, everyone.
Yeah, wow, Rodney's great. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That feels good. I was like, that sucks.
And listen, like I liked Eilise and Rodney. Like on
Same.
TV, I
liked them
I wanted her
together.
to pick Rodney too, you know, and there's nothing against Justin, but she likes Justin more.
Yeah.
And that was so obvious, you know, like she was so, yeah, I mean, it was so obvious. Like Rodney, so wait, interesting enough. Who do you feel, who's more embarrassed, Justin or Rodney?
Oh, Rodney. He was saying, and
Watching it back.
I could feel, watching it back.
Well,
I think still Rodney, because I don't think you could get that. You think you got the girl. Then she comes and tells you to go home. You have to go in front of everyone who was just like, my man, we're back, blah, 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 and then be like, I'm actually going to head out. And I don't think that embarrassment goes away. Watching it back too, I think
waking
Justin,
up
whatever.
and watching someone crying because they're with you. I mean, she woke up.
Yeah, no,
in tears.
I think that's why
Yeah,
Rodney
yeah.
would be way more embarrassed, because it's just like, oh my God, she was like, and her look at the camera when she was saying goodbye to Justin, it was bad.
You know, the pressure of the bubble, the mob.
The mob.
The house is, like I said, the house is always the biggest bully. And I'm not trying to say anyone was trying
Yeah,
to bully
no,
Eilise,
no.
but just the energy of the house and being afraid to disrupt the house and being afraid to like go against the grain and make the unpopular choice. Like that is
It's like the Kardashian quote, never go against the family.
Yeah, literally.
Never
Or
go
like-
against the house.
yeah, and that's
100%.
That's the energy I think a lot of people feel down there, and I think you saw that with Eilise, who like
Yeah, she was gone
she was
early
in Clayton
on,
season,
and
but she
seems
wasn't
really
that
nice.
long, you know. So she kind of came
She never
in.
got a one-on-one.
She never had a one-on-one. This is a relatively new experience for her, and you know the Rodneys of the worlds, the Justins,
Mhm.
you know, Brandon, Serene, like they're like the king and queen. They're like the
They're like
in
the
prom-
upperclassmen.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think you literally have that type of energy of being
Mhm.
afraid of like disrupting like the seniors, and you're only a sophomore, and like I truly feel like Eilise like went back into that mindset of
Yeah.
being in high school. I felt for all of them. I mean, like they're all good people. Like that's why I thought it was like a cute love triangle. It was clear like no one was the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Justin and Rodney were also really nice to each other too about
Yeah.
it.
yeah, it was a very sweet love triangle.
It's also like, I wonder in Eliza's decision if it has something to do with Rodney and her maybe being similar, because they both seem like such like positive, sweet people, versus like Justin's a little bit more like, he's like famous for his faces. Like he has more opinions and takes. And so I wonder if she was like wanting to be balanced out more than like the same. But I think when we think about partnership, a lot of times it's like same, compatible.
Yeah.
I think she just has the hots for Justin more than she has Rodney.
But I think that she has the hots for Justin because a little bit of that, and like also Rodney is this. He's like and I mean he seems amazing. I think he also is like safe because he's so nice and
Mhm.
we all have been in that situation where there's the guy that's just like so nice and safe and whatever, and you know that it could be great, but you're like, oh, this is new, and Justin came in later. They had these sparks and butterflies. I just think then she realized like she could have a little more.
Also,
Sparky fun.
last week is the same person who, you know, like Kate, but a little differently than Kate, like stated that she wanted someone to fight for her.
Yeah.
And also that kind of energy probably like doesn't pair well with all your friends wanting to date, just trying to set you up.
Yeah.
You know, like I think if you want that element of wanting to be fought for or chased, there's an element of like, you want that kind of passion or excitement.
And Justin came down just for her, which I
Yeah.
think her hearing that was like, my king.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
it's like that would make her feel like the main character, where I'm sure
Yeah.
sometimes she must feel like Rodney is treated like the main character
Yeah.
in
Sure,
the house.
yeah.
Totally. 100%. I think that has a lot to do with it more than anything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see next week how they get along. Well, Aaron and I guess Genevieve had their. The reason why I love Aaron, like I think he's so funny to watch, but he also, when he was talking about, when he told her that he loved her, that was, right? He was like, set it up odd, which I think he also like does for the theatrics. He's like, this is going to be a difficult conversation to have. And she's like so scared. And then he also, the way he talks in like prepositions, he was like, when you were talking to me in the jungle, he called it the jungle path. We were in the jungle path. And you were mad. And that made me upset because then you were upset. And when you were upset, I felt like I was mad in the jungle path. He gave like 14 prepositions.
That is an amazing Aaron.
I was like, what are you trying to say? And she's like about to have an aneurysm watching him being like, what? And then he's like, and all that said, I love you.
He's like, when I said I was falling in love with you, like, that's not true. I'm in love with you.
And he goes, when I said I was falling in love with you, and he's like, that's not true. That's the furthest thing from the truth. He said that first. And I was like, give this girl a break.
Yeah,
and he's like, I love you.
I don't feel like I know Genevieve at all. I've never met her.
Yeah.
But I don't think she likes to be joked with like that.
No.
I don't I don't think she wants like a good
He was
April
like,
Fool's joke.
Just like bringing her on the line.
She just wants constant
Like affirmation.
Yes. Like she just wants to feel safe and secure on a pretty constant basis. She'll provide the drama when she needs it. She does not need an Aaron to provide it too. I think that's probably their only downside because I do like they in a lot of ways they seem like a really cute couple. Like, but I don't know if
I think they're totally toxic.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. That too. But I like
But they're cute together.
But
Oh my
shouldn't
god.
the toxic people go together? You
I
know what I
know,
mean?
but
Like
for
shouldn't
only
all the
one-
toxic people out there in the dating market
Just
like
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They seem to have like they look good together,
Oh,
and
yeah.
in a lot of ways they seem like they have fun. But they are that classic young love. They're the couple that dated in high school or college, dated for 3 or 4 years, had broke up multiple times, and they're just ultimately going to realize we're not right for each other. But there was a ton of passion there, a lot of love.
They're like fighting at every party in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, someone
like, you guys coming or should we head out? And they're like, just go.
Be like, Genevieve left 20 minutes ago and she just started walking home. And like,
Me.
oh, I think you should go pick her up. You know, like a lot of stuff like that where then the Aaron pulls up like a mile down the road and she's just like walking and realized it was too far. Get in the car.
She's like, no,
ridiculous.
I'm gonna walk.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Key
You're
and
gonna
Peele
ruin your
sketch that's
shoes.
like where he's like, I have your bag, Megan, come back. And she's like, no. And just like keeps running until they're like in the desert, then like in Antarctica. And it's like, that's Genevieve and Aaron to a T.
Hayden runs like he's like a senior citizen.
He kind of gives senior citizen energy.
Yeah. He looks like he the energy he gives off is that he's from Florida and lives in like a seniors community.
Correct.
Yeah, like he like smokes cigars with the old
Yeah.
men.
But,
He's
like,
like, check out the rack of that
egotistical.
lady on the boat.
Like an older man with an ego and tries to like enforce how much money he has to everyone and then orders a shrimp cocktail and a glass of wine and closes
He's got
out
his
his
golfing
check.
buddies and he like the only time he
Yeah.
expects to hang out with his partner is like after
Yeah.
No waitress.
After the day is done.
after the day like
He gives like
Or-
salmon polo energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
him on that date with Kate was killing me. So he's like, yeah, the upside down part though. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. She keeps being like, it was fun. And he's like, except that upside down part. I didn't like that. He said it like 6 times.
He's like, I don't know if this is legal.
She's like, it is. But
when the back to Eliza and Rodney and Justin when that whole thing was going on. Brandon said he was advocating for Rodney, Jesus, and he was saying how like Rodney, like at the end of the day, Eliza wasn't Justin's first choice, but Rodney's first choice was Eliza. Like so, this was Brandon like kind of talking to us, the audience,
Poetry
and kind
mode.
of advocating like how beautiful it was. And I love me some Brandon. What does that mean?
Because you are big on not judging people for how long their list of exes is.
Yeah. Also, not only that, but like by that same logic, either was
Michelle.
Serene. Yeah, Michelle was your first choice. You were very in love, and like I don't fault you at all for going for what you want and like moving on and realizing. Like I hated that Brandon said that because I think it sells. He sold himself short by trying to advocate for his friend because Brandon was someone who we had the pleasure of interviewing, truly cared about Michelle, was truly heartbroken, truly needed to heal from someone. And I really respected his willingness to like just be open about that and be vulnerable about that and own that and not try to shy away from that. Not try to dismiss that. Not try to be like, you know what, at the end of the day, it was a show. I didn't really like her. Blah, blah, it was the experience. But he really owned that. And I equally believe that he's just in love, if not more in love with Serene, who he had to meet after the fact. And sometimes like when you meet someone and when you start liking them and the order of which you like them has nothing to do with how compatible or whether you should like, and how you should make your choice. Be like, oh, well, he liked you first.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? That doesn't mean anything. It's a silly thing to say.
Bachelor of Paradise, where different people come down the stairs at different times, you have to start talking to someone, and then you're like, oh, we have sparks, and the next person comes down, and it's like, I feel like your second choice. You weren't down here. Like, I hadn't met you. There's literally no way for that to have occurred.
Yeah. So I was exploring what was in front of me, and then I got to meet you, and it's just like
great.
first, second, third, and like
Rodney was with Lace, like for like a big chunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like when you just like want to comfort someone or you just have your opinion and then you're just looking for words to fill in to make it make sense when it's really just this like gut emotion charged thing.
It sounded really poetic though, but I'm watching it and be like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like that doesn't, even for yourself, Brandon. Like just
No, But Brandon goes into poetry mode though, and he is like so sweet and whatever. He's like tearing up at the thought of it all. And of course I'm listening and I was like, that's a great point. And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait a second, that's not true. I just
You know, but it's a things I think we say some crazy shit sometimes.
Oh,
you know.
Not me. No.
Did we talk about, I meant like, we're just saying like, I know how I feel about you. I think I brought that up last week. Which feeling is it?
What does that mean?
Pray tell.
You know, like
Please
people
tell
talk
me.
about feelings as if like, you know, like a feeling is a what? I'm not an English guy. It's
Probably a noun.
is it a noun?
Well, it's like depends on how you would use it. Like I love you. Love would be the verb.
That is my point.
Yeah.
But people will say,
Like I have a feeling about you.
I have feelings for you.
Yeah, it's like it
Then
can
that's
be
a
a verb
noun.
or
That's a
Yeah.
fuckboy thing to say. You know? And people will like use nouns as adjectives, or is it an adjective or a verb?
Depends on how you use it in a sentence.
Well, like I love you.
I love you. That's a verb.
Yeah.
I have feelings for you. Feelings is a thing. It's a noun.
Okay. Yeah. And they are using nouns like they should be using verbs.
What does our improv teacher say? Specificity will set you free. That's what these people should
Hey.
be learning.
Hey,
Anyone who's like talking about their feelings in generic terms, like
scary.
fuckboy energy. They're not sure about you. It's just
That's
so
a real
easy.
estate Kate situation.
But that's
Just gotta
also
feel it.
very. But that's
Overarching.
also very Bachelor. Is like I have a feeling. I'm beginning to have feelings for you. I have this feeling about you. I feel really good when I'm with you.
Well,
I feel it's constant.
It's almost like the milestones are these platitudes,
Yeah.
like these statements that they say that
I
are
have
just
feelings.
Well, okay, and Genevieve was like, she was like, I've never felt like this to Aaron even, and she was literally leaving the day before. Like when he said I love you to her, she was like, I've never felt like this.
What does that
Which,
mean?
again, we don't know. And also it gives very much high school relationship energy. I've never felt like this. And it was like, you were actually leaving without saying goodbye to him yesterday. So that's confusing.
So is that like scared? Is it excited? Is it in love? Is it safe?
Well,
Is
she was
it-
talking about it when she was saying how much she loved him.
Yeah.
But to me, I was like, I find it a little
Yeah.
toxic because you almost left the day before, but
Ooh, yeah.
I like that.
Eliza would, I will say, between Eliza and Rodney both, I actually thought, like, well, for one, if the show clearly wanted us to think that Rodney was Jesus, why can't Rodney be the Bachelor?
I was wondering
nothing against
that.
Zach.
Oh, God.
Seemed,
I
forgot.
literally keep
I
forgetting
know.
that Zach is the Bachelor.
And then I shudder.
Someone said that to me the other day, and I said, "Who?" Yeah.
but Zach didn't have the most compelling love story. We've already forgotten about them. They knew Paradise was going to happen. Why not like announce? You know, like they
When
could have.
Rodney was saying, "Beautiful, just talk to me," like every woman in America was
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
"Oh, dear
And
Like,
Lord."
when
beautiful,
Rod-
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
When Rodney goes,
I if someone called me beautiful, I think I would lose my marbles.
Especially in like when you're saying something upsetting, and he's
Oh.
like, beautiful, beautiful, baby, baby, beautiful.
he's very smooth. Rodney is very smooth.
I was like, oh
But it's
my
not
God.
like it's not like in a suave, cheesy, like fuckboy way. It's like
No.
very genuine.
It was
That's
really
his
hot.
problem.
It's not like when you go on a date with someone and they're like, Eilise, listen, Eilise. Like that's fuckboy. This is like,
I was
beautiful,
like,
talk
So which
to
one
me.
do you like more?
Him.
Both.
No, the one where they keep
'Cause
using your
I'm
name
a
is
little
like
confused.
schmoozy and nasty.
Why is it? Yeah, like there would have been tons of hype. Like, why? Imagine if Rodney was now just announced as the Bachelor.
Oh my gosh.
And also the alumni who would come back for group dates, like
Correct.
the
Like,
whole thing.
If I'm
you would
being
have
honest,
America's heart.
I was sitting at that reunion staring at a ton of men who could have been the Bachelor.
Like who?
I don't like Rodney, Andrew, Justin. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good guys.
Justin.
I love Justin, not
No.
a Bachelor.
Okay.
But, like,
Andrew for sure.
Andrew
I think
or
Andrew.
Rodney for sure. I don't know. I always thought that. I thought that even when on his season, I was like, he would be great. Because I thought he just had that like little charm about him.
Also, I think Eilise as the Bachelorette.
Oh,
I mean, she's
No.
beautiful. Guy, why?
Because I didn't find myself rooting for her. And I don't want to start a season feeling that way.
Well, I don't mean based off this edit, but like, she's beautiful. A lot of men would be into her, and I think the combination of the indecisiveness would play well as a Bachelorette, and I
Mhm.
think eventually she would find her voice as a
Yeah.
Bachelorette, feel empowered, and I think you would get the other side of that, kind of standing her ground. But like at the end of the day, she's not afraid to show her emotion and emote, and having people pursue you, and you being a willing to emote is a great recipe
It worked for Hannah Brown.
for a Bachelorette.
Yeah.
And I think she would be an excellent Bachelorette. I think she has a lot of the ingredients for an excellent Bachelorette.
Can they make Susie the Bachelorette now that
Yes,
Clacy's
please.
over?
They
Like
can
with
do whatever they want. I don't think they will.
I will say that Eilise as Bachelorette, even though I'm like, I don't know if she would be my pick. Like I could see Rodney, I don't know, but she is good for them because she has like the Bachelor slang. Like she talks very like Netflix movie-ish. And she said like
Yes.
when he was like, you cute, we cute, all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, projectiling. But then even when he was like, I'm sorry it took me so long. And she was like, better late than never.
Yep.
Like she is very,
She's writing her own
ABC would
scripts.
love that.
Yeah.
When Rodney said, like, very serious, I mean, I almost died, like, laughing. I felt bad. But he goes, is it the other guy? Or are you going to go,
Is it him?
is it
I
him?
think is what he
it was
said.
just, He just said it in such a, like, soap opera kind of, like.
He even said, he's like, I need the truth, Eliza. I deserve it. Like the whole,
I loved it.
yeah.
It was so movie. He's like, give me
Yeah.
that. I at least deserve
It was
that.
great. But to Eliza's credit, I love that Eilise said,
Yeah.
Yeah. Rodney asked a very tough question. And a lot of times when we ask tough questions, we aren't really expecting tough answers.
Yeah.
And Eliza gave him the very honest and hard answer to give, which is, I'm going to go do that. And I say good for her for saying that. Good for him for asking. But I think a lot of people would either avoid that conversation, avoid that question, or not be as upfront for fear that it would be too hard to hear. But Rodney asked the question. And so if someone asks the question, you give them the answer.
Even worse, he said, do you think you made the wrong choice? Which would make him the wrong choice. And when he asked her that, I was literally watching it with like my eyes shut and then she goes, yeah, I think I made the wrong choice for me. And I was like,
She kept
oof,
saying that. She did that in an ITM and to him. She added the for me,
which I think was making him feel like it wasn't, he's great.
I think it's her maybe pointing to, like we said, like the house mentality. Like everyone else thought this was the right decision, but like not for me.
Yeah.
And I loved how, I mean, ultimately, I think it was generally a good, healthy conversation. Like, he asked, like, Rodney asked really hard questions that he knew were most likely going to feel real painful to get. But getting those answers, he needed to hear. And he just wanted the truth and he wanted to deal with it. And I'm sure it was really hard to hear, but like, I'm sure he was able to get that closure from it and not keep this cycle going, because to avoid the tough questions a lot of people do that. I'm going to hang on to hope, so I'm not going to ask the tough questions, and then that will keep that situation.
And then you ruminate in them for 4 weeks and then are like, I need closure, and then you text your ex and then it all goes to shit.
And then you find a way to sit around on the sideline and just wait for things to trip up or find a way back in, or be like, we need to talk.
He could have just been like, how do you feel now? Are you sure? Are you whatever? And she could have been like, I don't really know. I have all these mixed feelings.
Yeah.
It was good on him to just be
I
like,
just need to like,
you
I'm
messed
having
up.
confusion. I need to like, so, look, take your time. Go do this. Yeah. I ultimately thought it was sad, but productive. Is it the other guy?
Was it him?
Was it him?
She's like, no, just want to head home. Yeah.
I wrote Jacob. What a joy.
Ugh.
I'm really
A pleasure to have in class.
I really
surprisingly.
enjoyed, yeah.
Oh, Jacob. Yeah,
Really,
he left.
I really enjoyed him.
He's like, bye, guys. Have a good day. Like, did you meet anyone? Sorry, I'm like so confused.
I'm really rooting for his love story though.
I really liked him.
Michael and Danielle had a date
Yeah, with Wells.
Oh.
with Wells.
Lovely third wheel.
You're like, oh, I forgot.
Michael also obviously is not a student of the show because he was like, so weird. Wells kept popping up. I was like, we've seen this time and time again.
Oh, I think he's a student of the show, and he's just playing his cards a little too heavy.
But you heard him like they even had his mic when he was on the horse and he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
He was like
he's
mad.
like, it's Wells.
He was like, all right, I'll have a choco banana. He was like so mad at every stop.
So you don't think he?
I think he's seen the show, but I just think I just found it funny that Danielle was like, what's up? And then he just kind of did seem surprised.
Danielle
every time.
was like really running with it and was like eagerly awaiting
Yeah.
Wells at each stop.
He made it like the way Michael was talking about it was like he and Danielle are like in the basement, like watching a movie, and the mom keeps coming down with snacks, being like, "Hey, you want anything?"
He was like, yeah, I'll have a drink. Yeah, every stop he just seemed annoyed, which I found really funny. But then he left him. I didn't realize that Danielle and Wells were like good friends, but I guess I forgot that she was on there way back when.
Yeah.
She was on Paradise, and they had like a fake date. I think and then
Oh, okay.
and he used to live in Nashville. She did. I think they became friends there.
So I forgot what season. Like
Also,
I've always
them
loved
She was
her,
on
but I
my
forgot
season.
what. Oh, she was.
Them talking about the wedding when we all know that they did go to the wedding and then they were in that Bachelor Nation photo, which kind of spoiled Paradise. Thought it was a funny
I didn't
moment.
know that was Michael at the wedding with her.
And they posed
Yeah.
in the photo together
Yeah.
with everyone else.
Oh,
But
I'm
it was
glad
like
I didn't know
this
that.
So
was the
everyone calm
moment.
down about my TikTok, basically.
But and then it was like them talking about the wedding on this date. I was like, we all know what happened.
Wait, that's actually cute because
Yeah.
she like didn't know then if she would
Mhm.
bring him. That's cute.
What do we think? Have we warmed up to? Have people warmed up to Michael and Danielle? Because I feel like
we were always warm.
Were
I
we?
think.
We were hot.
We were.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
got the impression that like people have cooled on them because it seemed a bit forced, and that we didn't like.
It was forced,
how
but
it
I
was
think
kind of all-
they have a true good connection.
Okay.
I think they're cute.
Yeah, I feel like it was like a respectable room temp to start,
Yeah.
and now it's like very slowly.
I'm glad that
slowly
they
heating up.
seem to like each other and that we're getting like ITMs of like, because Danielle for me is kind of hard to read sometimes. She seems like a
Mhm.
little disinterested sometimes on the date, and then or just very like pleasant and there, and
she's
then
she's very demure, very pleasant.
yeah, and then she in her ITM was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that he said the thing about the future. Like, and I was like, oh, she is really excited about him saying that, where I was like, oh man, I hope she likes him as much as he likes her, because I wasn't sure. But it seemed to me like she does. So
Yeah, there was a moment a few episodes ago where they were kissing and they were like many ones. And I brought this up before, but I just think that was kind of a turning point for me where I was like, okay, they have very much legitimate chemistry. This is
Yeah.
not just like, here, you two go be a happy couple. We're
when
giving it to
Amanda
you on a
saw the
platter.
multiple kisses, she knew.
I said, that's love.
All right. Do you think they're gonna get engaged?
oh, I hope so.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do just because
Do you like as a fan of the show? Are you like rooting for the engagement because that's what the show's about, and as like a longtime watcher of the show, you're rooting for the engagement, or are you someone who like modern day dating realize that like these are two people who maybe could like be in love and maybe don't need the engagement?
I'm
Like,
rooting
as a fan,
for
do you
them
want the engagement?
to be. I guess the engagement is like the wrong goal. I'm rooting for them to like be good together in the real world and like be a solid couple, which I think if it sounds like both of them have a goal of marriage. So of course from what I've seen of both of them on the show and how I kind of was like, oh, I don't know if Michael is going to be able to find someone who, can kind of put that like that hole, fill that hole in his heart and blah, blah, blah. So in that way, I'm like, man, if they worked out, that would be really sweet. And I would be rooting for them to get engaged, but not on I don't think they'll get engaged on the beach.
Because I don't think he would propose to someone without introducing her
Yes.
to his son.
I think there's no chance they'll get engaged on the beach. That is what I should have said.
Who do you think is getting? Who do we think? Brandon
And Serene. Aaron and Genevieve.
You
think they get engaged?
Yes.
I don't.
Oh man, I think they'll leave together. Like where they're like, let's leave together and have a life.
I think they'll break up.
I just feel like if Genevieve wants it, it will happen.
If they're having a good day that day, they'll get engaged.
If they're not on the jungle path.
If they're not on the jungle path screaming at each
In
other.
the jungle path.
I think they won't because while they can both be excitable people, I think their fears will take over about the potential of a relationship. And I think they're both self-aware enough to recognize. I think what's endearing about them is they both kind of I think at times they both have recognized their ridiculousness as individuals. I mean, like Genevieve kind of teases about her emotions, and Aaron kind of mentions, he acknowledges his ways, I think. So I don't think they're like delusional in the fact that they both can act this way. And maybe I don't think they are without recognition of a need to maybe grow in aspects of their lives.
Was this the episode where he like she went to talk to him and she goes, "Is this a good time?" And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Was that last episode?
Yeah, and then she goes, "You hesitated. Why did you hesitate?"
That was so funny because also he's like, "Because maybe I wasn't ready." And he was like sitting there doing nothing. It was like killing me. Like so high school fight where you're like, "I guess I'm ready now." And you're like, but I think those kind of arguments and that kind of thing, I'm hoping that they're both self-aware enough to be like, maybe we don't get engaged right now and see how this works in the real world and go from there.
Yeah, they talk like Aaron in that moment, and they both kind of do. It says they talk like they've watched a couple TikToks about setting boundaries, and they've read a couple like Instagram posts about like attachment styles and gaslighting and how to communicate, and they have the best intentions of wanting to be a good partner, and they have the best intentions of like following these kind of new rules of dating, but they haven't yet quite figured out how to apply it in like
at all
real world situations as it relates to them, and their ability to regulate their feelings in real time.
Because she'll take a second too and be like, "I feel like you're not hearing my feelings," and then he is like in anger mode and goes crazy, and he loses. Like I feel like she can hang more onto like the techniques and whatever of having an argument, and he just gets mad. And I think I would hope that they would not maybe get engaged, because I think they might just do better meeting each other's friends and going into the real world and seeing what that's like, and then getting out of the bubble a little bit.
All right. Eilise, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Please let my audience know where they can find you and digest some more of your amazing content, all the things you're doing.
My handles are at It's Eilise Guilfoyle on everything, and that's Eilise Guilfoyle. Cheers.
All right. Tomorrow is our 500th episode.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Half a century.
We will have Bartice, Nancy, and Raven all on this episode.
Fun.
Some quick interviews, and we'll be talking some Love is Blind as well as the Selena Gomez documentary. Have you watched the Selena Gomez documentary? It's really good.
I'm watching it this weekend with some of my girlfriends. I'm very excited.
We'll be talking that.
Oh my God. Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico.
Hottest couple alive.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we're
Nick.
going to be talking.
Oh my God.
We have our Lindsay Lohan Jingle Bell Rock situation.
Oh my God. Yes. Lindsay Lohan returns to our screens.
Yeah. I saw her dancing in Mykonos last time, and I don't know where she's been since, you know?
Like in person?
No. Just do you remember that video that surfaced?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, okay, your life.
Well, she had a club in Mykonos. No, she had a whole.
She had her own beach club.
I saw her dancing in Mykonos, and I haven't connected with her since.
I know. I was like, Amanda's officially the coolest person I've ever met.
She gave me Molly. It was fine. Yeah. Selena Gomez doc, and also a very sad celebrity death. Aaron Carter.
I know.
Well, we'll be getting into all that and more on our 500th episode Thursday. Yeah, on Thursday. All right. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice. as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.